Evening, everyone. It's right around 6 o'clock, a few minutes after, and this is your closing comment. It is video number 595. And if you like the work, we'd appreciate if you just hit that subscribe button and like it. Okay, so today was kind of an interesting day. The leaders of the last couple of days, primarily the Russell, turned back down again a little today. The Dow was down $8.22, so nothing overwhelming, and the Nasdaq was up 56.52, just over 0.4%. S&P up $8.65, a quarter of a percent. As I said, the Russell down 15.99 or 0.75%, and the transports down just under 80 or 0.6%. What was interesting here is that the FAANG stocks and the large mega cap stocks came roaring back after a couple of days, and what was more interesting was the fact that the Dow, which was down minorly, was actually 1.1 to 1 positive, where the Nasdaq, which was up $56, was actually 5 to 4 down. Volume was a little lighter than the last couple of days, and so I'm not sure that it really means anything, but I did see some opportunities which we took today, and I'll discuss those in a minute. We had the two big pieces of news today. One was the departure of Bob Swan from Intel. If you recall, Intel about a couple of weeks ago was $45, and today it traded over 60 on the news that he was being replaced with the CEO from VMware, which was a surprise loss. What was interesting there, of course, was the fact that VMware was down a little. Intel was up and then gave a little back, but Dell was down about $5, if you recall. Dell owns still 81% of VMware, and there have been talk kind of repeatedly about Dell spinning that off or selling it or giving it to shareholders, but that is definitely a loss for the company. In economic news, we had the CPI, which came in at 1.4% on an annualized rate, which is versus 1.2% in November. And it seems that nobody seems to think that the moves up in CPI are going to be any cause for inflation. I somewhat disagree with him, but that's just me. Also was the budget deficit, which is, kind of an absurd comparison. It was year over year. So the budget deficit reported today was $143.6 billion versus the year ago, $13.3 billion. I know that's a huge number, but you have to factor in the fact that last December and January, the talk of COVID was, pretty hush-hush and whispered and not really taken terribly seriously. So we have that. We also had the weekly mortgage index, which was up 16.7, and the two main components of that were refis, which were up 20.1%, and new purchases up 8%. With the pricing of homes increasing so dramatically, it really is not a surprise for either of those two numbers. Tomorrow's Thursday. Thursday is claims day. We have continuing and initial claims. Initial claims, the consensus is about 780,000. Last month's number was 787, so we'll see how that works. We also have the December import and export prices, and within those are the ex-oil and ex-agriculture prices. In case you haven't noticed, the price of oil has moved up substantially and probably will be a major part of that. And the ex-agriculture will also be a major part. We've had the price of corn just explosive, and I'll get to that and show you a chart on these things in a minute. We also today had SpaceX at the close was up 90 cents, and without seeing any real news, they started moving the stock, and the last that I have is 31.66, up $5 or 19%. The chart on the screen here is the oil, but this is a little bit different. This is only the intraday for the oil. And the move here up to the high at 53.93 is a new recovery high. And I actually went short the oil on the basis of what I see technically. And that would be new high followed by a move down, nothing exceptional, a move back up that failed to make a new high, and the immediate collapse. This is a pretty big move. I mean, we're talking about a high here of 53.65 and a low here, which was the low of the day at 52.58. So we also, after seeing that decline, we had another strong rally. Again, a lower high, a move down, rally back up, again, a lower high, and this consolidating across and, really doing not much after that. I'll show you a little bit more here of what I'm looking at, and that is, this move up. I've been talking about it now for quite a while, and when you look at it on the weekly, you can see we are not only running directly into all of the supply here between, let's call it 51 and 50, and well, that's 61, but let's just go here, 51 to roughly 55. We have a downtrend line here that comes through a bit higher, but we also have run right into the 200 bar moving average here, so a 200 week, and when you see it on the daily again, you'll see that we made a new high and then closed pretty close to on the low. So that's why I'm in the SCO. We'll be in it if it in fact breaks back down. I will let it run. It's a 3-to-1 leveraged ETF. So if oil goes down 1% or 52 cents, that goes up 3% or roughly 30 cents on a $10 index. So that's where we are in the oil. I wanted to go back and show you what has gone on so you can see when I say that corn and wheat have exploded to the upside. I want you to see what we're talking about. We're talking about a commodity that traditionally is about $4 a bushel. We came from an oversold position here at $3.20 a bushel, and we closed today. We traded as high as $5.40 541 actually, but 540. That's an increase from 320 to 540 is roughly a 60% increase in prices. And you have to remember, when you see corn, you're also talking about ethanol. You're talking about all of the grain-based products that you buy in the grocery store. And here is the wheat. I think it's pretty much the same situation here. Wheat moved from a low at the same point in time last August of $4.90 a bushel. It hit $6.80 today and then closed down on the day. I think commodities in general are going to come in, and that tells me that the oil is probably decent trade here. The gold was up about $10. It's now down about $8. Unfortunately, we took our first losses of the year today with some calls that we owned in silver. We have some Newmont calls that we'll probably take a loss on tomorrow, but we've still had a pretty extreme move to the upside in performance. We're still up 9%, so 9% in 2 weeks of the year, pretty decent. My concern here is that we test this 1780 to 1800 area, at which point I would want to get back in. Okay, folks, that's about it. Oh, almost forgot. Bitcoin and the dollar. And Bitcoin has turned back up. It's up almost 1,100 tonight. I'm sure you'll remember this. We hit 42,730 and the next day hit 31,000. We've had a couple of days, they're inside days, obviously. Today's was an outside day, actually both ends, and we look like we're finding support for it between 31 and 32 and a half, and I don't see any reason why it can't turn up and run. I'd like to see, when it closes above this closing high at 39,625. Influencing all of this, of course, is the dollar. And we had the bonds up over a point today. For those who have been around a while, I will tell you that the bonds were up 1 1/8. I know nobody uses those numbers anymore, but it's pretty impressive to see we have the dollar, the 5-day moving average on the dollar breaking through the 20-day. And we have this little flag here, which occurs above the 90 line. Today we were down as low as 89.99, so just under. That was yesterday. Today 89.89, but we closed pretty much on the high and up on the day. My original idea was based on the weekly that we would be able to rally back to the 92 level, which is the last major break. That would involve first closing above 90.92. But it looks like it could easily go there. And coincidentally, the next moving average for it to run into is the 20-week, and that comes through pretty much right on the numbers, 92. 92.12 is actually where that comes through. All right, everyone, have a good evening. I'll be back. Oh, and by the way, they impeached the president. Again, first president in history to be impeached twice. All right, everyone, have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning with a pre-opening comment. Don't forget to hit subscribe.